I've made jokes about you on this podcast. Like I've done it, and I'm sorry about that. That's me just owning up to this. Man. Like I've thrown a little joke in from time to time, and it's just like it's unfortunate.
I'm easy to hate, bud. I don't get it. Everyone used to pull on the underdog. Everyone used to be like,
"Oh, a great man, point.
Underdog time." Now it's like, oh, Brian Harman, hell with that guy.
Foreplay presented by Chevy and brought to you by the greatest company on earth, Barstool Sports, started by Dave Portnoy. Yeah. I mean, how many years are we at this thing now? Didn't we just celebrate? Was it like 22 years? When was the 20th?
The whole company?
The whole company.
I believe it's 21 years.
21 years. Just a great American brand, you know? American success story. Whenever I go out to dinner with someone that really doesn't know my story of how I got into Barstool, they really don't know how it all happened. Maybe they've seen like the recent videos and they know that I'm a part of a golf brand, but they're like, how'd you get into all of this? I love to tell the whole entire story of where Dave started. Always say this man started at his parents' kitchen table, just figuring out what he wanted to do. Cushiony job, like takes a risk on himself. That's the American dream. You go from taking out human shit of newspaper racks to then making $500 million. That and you don't give a fuck from the way on the entire way up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
All those bumps and roads and all those times to get out and all those times to give up, and he just doesn't. Very nice to be a part of this brand. So that is who is bringing you this golf podcast that we get to sit here and talk to you about our favorite game in the world. We have Brian Harman on the show today. I'm going to get right to it. We have Brian Harman on the show. Now, that's a lot to unpack because that's a great guest. You know, Brian Harman won the Open Championship. He won it so well and so much so that it was a boring major.
Yeah,
no one was even close. We were all rooting for his demise just to have some sort of entertainment. And he was just so methodical with the way that he did it. We've made some jokes. I've made some jokes. I make some jokes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure other people have you ever made a joke about Brian Harman?
I don't think so.
Not even a little one?
I don't think so.
Listen, he's an easy guy to pick on, and I know that I'm already changing my tune because I talked to the guy, and like this is the foreplay way, is that we dog on guys, we hate them, and then we cradle their ball sacks until we get to like go do a video with them. That's just like how we've become successful, I guess, you know? And at the end of the day, that's just human nature. You get to meet someone and you get to like them. Like you get to meet the person in real life and you end up finding out new things about them. And no, I don't know. It's
incredible.
Yeah, no, he was amazing. It's a great interview. We've heard a lot of great things about Brian Harman. Kisner's like one of his best friends. They go hunting. They're boys down, you know, they're Georgia boys. And he's always said, I don't know why you guys don't like this guy. And we get into the waggles and we get into, you know, the Ryder Cup and him winning the Open. And we get into a lot of funny things. He's just, it's a great interview. It really is. And I think it's like eye-opening.
So I wasn't on the interview, so I'm very excited to listen to it. But by all accounts, from what we've heard, personality-wise, he's a lefty Kevin Kisner. Like, likes to talk shit, can give it, can take it. Like, I think he's going to end up being one of the guys that we really like. It just so happens that he's not that tall. And Frankie has latched onto that and made some jokes.
There's other
here.
things, though, and he knows it, too. He says it. Like, he's just an unlikable guy. Like those are words that come out of his mouth. He says, for better or worse, I don't have it.
Yeah.
You're going to hear him kind of describe, like, he doesn't know why that is, but, like, fans don't gravitate to him. And I don't want to give away the whole interview, but he says, like, there's a lot of things that I resonated with, or not resonated, but I understood, and how frustrating it must be for him, where he's like, I'm the underdog, man.
Right?
Like, when did people stop caring about that? And there's just something about him. We go into everything. Is it the broadcast fault for showing how many waggles the guy has? Like, you know, is it a piling on thing? It's like if they just showed him hit the golf shot and then just stick it to 5 feet, would we be like, this guy's our favorite guy ever? He's a fucking 4'5", whatever he is. Like the guy like beating like, you know, David versus Goliath and David's winning every single time. Like,
right. Unfortunately, we live in a world where one thing will create your whole narrative, and the waggles have created his narrative where it's something people can latch onto. Even casual fans who are watching, watching the Open Championship, and they're like, this guy is leading, so I'm tuning in, and wow, he just did 27 waggles before he hit that pitching wedge. And that just becomes who you are. But he is right in the underdog aspect of it, where you've got guys like Bryson dominating. You got guys like Scotty dominating. These are tall. These are athletes, guys who look like athletes. And then you got a guy like Brian Harman, who's a lefty, who is a smaller guy. And people, you're right, and he's right, should be rooting for him. But for whatever reason, I think he became the waggle guy. And that's unfortunate. So hopefully this interview that is coming up later on in this podcast will change people's minds, because we did that with Kisner. I mean, people didn't hate Kisner. They just didn't feel any sort of way about Kisner. But then you get to know these guys. They got great sense of humor. They got a great personality. They're actual people. And I think this might be the point for Brian Harman where it starts to turn around for him. At least I hope so.
He says a couple things in the show that are going to make people like scream it out at him and stuff. Like he really made a change, I think, in this show. I mean, it was eye-opening for sure. And he was great. So much so that, we'll let you listen to this and then we'll recap it even more in the next show, because I do think it's going to strike a chord with a lot of people.
Okay.
And I just kind of felt like an asshole going in, like, cause I don't know. I almost felt like you were bullying him, even though
you are an asshole, by the way.
Yeah, I am. And I said that to him word for word. I am an asshole, like the way that I was kind of treating him, where it's like you don't give him the time of day just because, like, you just hate on a guy. It is all jokes. We're allowed to make jokes on a podcast, and he understands that. But like when you finally meet the person, when you meet someone in person, face to face, even if it's through a screen, it's just different. I told him straight up, I was like, dude, when we go to tournaments, I run the other way from you because I've said so many like bizarre things about you that I didn't want to see you in person. Like,
I've witnessed that firsthand. You run the other way when you see him.
You'd be talking to Max Homa or Kevin Kisner. I'm like, we can't go over there. Fucking Brian Harmon's over there. I've said so much shit about him. I make so many jokes. I once said that we couldn't see him behind that grain of rice. Like, it's just like there's so many things. And I'm the first person to make fun of myself. But you're not allowed to do that much against someone else, or else it just becomes bullying. And I told him I was very upfront about it. So hopefully it all goes over smooth.
Well, we talked about this a few times, and you talked about the company Barstool Sports at the beginning of this thing. There were early days on this podcast and just blogging where Riggs and I would lob shots at everybody, and you just never think
lob shots.
It sounded British when I said that. Lob shots.
Me and Riggs, we would lob shots.
Me and Riggs would lob shots at golfers, and you would just never think that you were going to meet these people. And then sure enough, the company gets big enough, the brand gets big enough, you're at these tournaments, you got media credentials, you're asking for interviews, and you got to face these people. And, you did that with Brian Harman. I will applaud you for even doing the interview. I thought you were going to duck the interview.
I was going to. My heart rate was 145 going into that thing. It was in my throat.
Sure
but,
it was.
You just got to face the music. This episode is presented by Chevy. Get the crew together and head off to the course in the new 2024 Chevy Traverse with impressive cargo room, 3-row seating, and the first ever Z7-1 trim. Traverse can handle your buddies and their golf bags with ease. I've said this many times. You do not want to be the person that can't fit your buddies and their golf bags all in your car. You don't want to be the small car guy with no cargo space, with no 3-row seating. You want to be the person that's bringing everyone to the fun event and back in a nice, safe, spacious manner. And that is the very new 2024 Chevy Traverse, Trent. You just got to be the guy that has all the stuff. The 17.7-inch diagonal color touchscreen. It's the standard. It's the best in class, and that's standard in all of the Traverses. It's got the 3-row seatings. It's got the AutoSense power liftgate. Traverse has elevated the tech game and the space game.
I couldn't have said it.
You, sorry, Trent. I know you can't say it better because it's just these are just statistics and facts,
right?
Just like this fact right here, that you're going to find all the power that you need in the next generation Traverse with the all-new 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, 328 max horsepower, 326 pound-foot of torque, and up to 5,000 pounds of available maximum towing. I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to go to Chevy.com/Traverse to build your own and learn more. Building your own, specs and builds on these websites is maybe the most fun part about searching for a new car. You get to pick all the trims, all the colors, all the interior changes, all the exterior changes, and you can do that all at Chevy.com/Traverse. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Speaking of facing the music, Riggs Barstool did a video, episode 2 of Hater, and one of his trolls had to face the music. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out on our Rumble and YouTube pages, everywhere that you can find foreplay videos. If you don't want to get it spoiled, then you can stop listening to this now, but it came out last week. Great video. Riggs has found something here with having, Riggs is by far, he's not on the show today. He is on the interview, so you get some Riggs in a little bit, but at the end of the day, nobody gets more hate than Riggs for his golf game. It's not because he's a bad person. He's a great person. It's not because he does things that, it's just golf. Like, they don't like the way he takes the club back. They don't like the way that he follows through. They don't like the way that, and I don't like it either. I mean, I don't like watching it. Like, it's tough to watch, but he ends up producing a good score more often than not. Maybe not in recent times because guys have ups and downs in their golf game, but people despise his golf swing. They're grotesque by it, and
not dissimilar to what we were just talking about with Brian Harman, the waggles. That's the narrative. He has a swing that is disgusting, and people react to that, and that becomes his narrative.
It's a golf show, and he's constantly putting out his golf swing, so people are gonna talk about it. It's not like you can't just ignore that swing. You can't. There's nothing that you can ignore about it. He's a lefty in hockey. Maybe he should have been a lefty in golf. People have said that. I do think that it's a little unnatural. But listen, at the end of the day, he gets it done. I've played with Sam Riggs Bezoyan so many times where it's been the ugliest round of golf, but he shoots a 78 ball in hole. And we've done that. We've videotaped it. We've put it out there. Nobody cares about the game in this group more than Riggs. If you guys think that he's lying about his handicap, you are severely mistaken. He will make you go back to the tee box in certain matches to re-tee because you're not playing by the rules like that. He just cares about the game of golf to an extreme level. He plays 24/7. He plays every day. He loves this game. He lives and breathes and dies this game. He started this brand with Trent because he loved the game so much he couldn't be sitting in the office anymore. He saw an opportunity, and now it's get turned into its own business. This man loves this game. He's not out there lying. He also plays like at exclusive country clubs and like all these amazing places in Arizona with all these pros. He's not lying about anything. So like for the hate that he gets, it's just unfortunate because we've seen it up front. So for him to do this series where he's just, you know what, guys, like, fuck you. Yeah, you hate me. I'm going to go out and I'm going to find guys that are spewing this hate, nonstop trolling on me on all my videos. They can't handle my swing. They can't handle the fact that he's Riggs, and I'm going to go play them one-on-one. That is an admirable, awesome series. There's a million different YouTube golf series and Rumble series, all these things where they go out, and we do it too. How many Fireball drinks can we have? How many slices of pizza can we eat? All these things. This is a legit, like, I'm reaching through the screen and I'm grabbing someone real and I'm grabbing them by the neck and I'm pulling them into our video. And I'm saying, you know what, motherfucker? I'm going to play you now. Like, that's not happening that often. I don't know if it happens in any series in the YouTube golf world. So the fact that he's doing that, kudos to Riggs. He lost the first match. This match, he has a guy come up who says he's a 2.1 handicap. Just a classic troll that you meet in person. He's like, his defense is up. He's like he doesn't want to be an asshole in real life. Meanwhile, he has all these screenshots. We have all these screenshots of this guy being a complete lunatic online. And he's like, no, it's all just fun and games. Like, it's all fun and games until you have to meet the person, just like with me and Brian Harman. This is what I mean. It's like, it's that transition of like, that's not reality. Like, you have to be a normal person in all realms of our world. So he finally sees this guy, and the guy's, I mean, he doesn't come off the greatest. He's like kind of like a cocky guy, like 2.1 handicap. Says like he thinks that. Did you see the rollback clip? It's the craziest clip of all time.
No.
The guy hits the ball short. I'm pretty sure it came up short. And he's like, yeah, like that club usually goes 145. Fuck. He's like, this, I got to be honest, Riggs, this rollback that they introduced on the pro ball, it's really, he goes, I've really noticed over the last couple rounds, I'm losing about 5 to 10 yards each swing. He's like, that rollback on that tour ball that I've been using, it's really been affecting my game. And Riggs knew he had him. Riggs was, what? And he's like, yeah, the tour ball rollback, the one that, the new ball that all the tour pros are using, that's the one I'm using. And Riggs is like, that's not happening for years. He goes, actually, the TaylorMade TP5X goes 5 yards further than last year. So
2030, I think they're introducing that.
Yeah, he's like, they're not. I thought I saw something about that, so I thought maybe I was just losing some yards.
I will say
that's who we're playing. That's the guy saying, Riggs, your swing stinks, and you're a liar. It's like this guy thinks he's playing with a rollback golf ball until someone with a brain had to tell them you're wrong. There's a lot of people that need to be told you're wrong.
I will say, and you are right, like when you meet these people or when Riggs meets these people for these matches, they become more normal and regular because that's how the world is. It's not the internet. But I do at some point need one of these guys to be a psychopath and real person too. Like that will be great. And I know he's going to keep filming these. Like I know he's got another one in the can. Like he's going to keep doing these. I would at one point just love an absolute psycho to roll out of the Uber and onto the golf course.
These guys have it in them. Like this guy had it in him, you know, like he really wanted to beat Riggs. There's a reason why he really wanted to beat Riggs. All of his buddies are watching too. Like it's also not easy to be the guy that's like being outed for being a psychopath online, just like tweeting at a guy who golfs all the time. Like right. That's like to have your face attached to your comments is basically like, you're outing like who we want to out. Like these behind keyboard warrior trolls that are just nonstop trying to take down a guy for his swing. So it is nice. There's a lot of elements as to why I love it. No spoilers, but if you don't want to stop it, Riggs wins. So he's 1-1. It's a great match. He looked like he was going to get absolutely destroyed in the beginning, hitting the ball sideways, hitting the ball out of bounds. But he ends up, charging back and winning in a great fashion. So shout out to Riggs. It's a great series. I really like it. He hasn't been in a lot of videos recently. Me and Trent have been kind of like doing different style videos, and then Riggs has to come in one of his first videos in a long time. And it's not an easy thing to go back onto camera and play mano-a-mano versus a guy who hates you. So yeah, just want to give a shout out to him. Another video is coming out of his soon, hopefully. And then we've got more videos coming out. We've got Breaking 85 starting. I believe that's starting this week, right, Alex Bush? Is that true? Is that starting this week?
Breaking 100 Jerry on Wednesday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then Hater next week.
We've got Breaking 100 with Jersey Jerry coming out, which is a new series that we're starting, a brand new idea of a guy going out there trying to break 100 ball and hole. And I think this twist that you guys are about to hear is going to tickle your fancy. Okay. The first episode, and who knows, maybe it's every episode, is a great combination. It's something that we're throwing at you that you would never believe that we would do. It's Jersey Jerry and Trent Ryan breaking 100. The teacher, the student becomes the teacher. It's a little bit of Mr. Miyagi, where it's like, you've worked with the old bull, now you get the young calf, Yeah,
it was good. I went out to Chicago. Jerry had expressed interest in doing a Breaking 100, and I was like, absolutely, let's do that. And yeah, it was just me. It was me and Jerry. We went out to the Glen Club, and I'm really excited for people to see it. We become like a self-improvement brand in this lane where it's like, I broke 100, I broke 90. Now I'm going to try to break 85. And it's like, why, if there's other people at the company who want to go on the same journey, come on over and let's do it. And Jersey Jerry's been in a lot of our videos recently. People love him. We love him. He's the best. And people want to watch him golf and people want to watch him improve. So, and he wants to improve. That's a big part of it. When you watch the video, you will see he is actually very determined to get better at the game of golf. So not only is it great because, I love hanging out with Jerry. It's so much fun. He's such an interesting character, but he also is very motivated and wants to break 100. So it's going to be a great series, and I'm very excited for people to watch it.
We're becoming the brand that has achievement series, and that's the best place to be, I think. I think that you have a reason to watch the next episode. Yes. We're not the funniest people in the world. We're not stand-up comedians. There's reasons why that we are where we're at. People do like to watch us golf. I think they find humor in it. I do think that they find a sense of commonality in it. Is that a nice word? You like that?
Yeah, commonality, relatability.
But there's also this achievement-based idea behind a lot of our videos where it's like, is Trent going to put in the work and the effort to get to this number? Is Jersey Jerry going to do it? Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. Like, I need to sit there and watch this Thursday night to see if Jersey Jerry does it. That's where real entertainment for me, that's where it starts to build up, like everything else. I love watching all the stuff that just makes you laugh and that you can just sit back and easily watch. But there is a time and place which I love that we have a decent amount of this, where it's like this guy really is trying to achieve something. There's a reason why we're filming this. There's a reason. And that reason is, can he shoot in the double digits? Can he shoot a 99 or lower? So I love it. And Jersey Jerry's all in. He's been calling me every single day. The guy wants to be all in. We want him to be all in. So we're going to navigate football season going forward. We're going to figure out how to get him into more videos. He's going to come on more trips, but Jersey Jerry for sure. Breaking 100 is going to be an absolute huge series. And then Breaking 85. I talked about it. That's coming out as well. And another hater. And we're just going to keep rolling. We love getting out to live events, Trent, whether it's a concert, a football game, a comedy show. We always use Game Time. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports and Fore podcast in particular. For me, I've been all in on this men's tennis at the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open's right here in New York, in Queens, and it's been fantastic. Even though the favorites got out really early, it's just been really great. We've had Americans on Americans. The females have been amazing matches. You go right here on the Game Time Picks section. The Game Time Picks, this filters out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. You click right here. You can get to the men's final, the U.S. Open men's final at Arthur Ashe, and that's for $150. Like, this is a serious U.S. Open final. Getting in there for $150, it knows exactly where you want to sit. It's going to give you the best seat available. And they don't just have that. You can go right there. You get the Vikings at the Giants. It's happening in
it's football
12
season.
minutes.
It's football season.
Vikings at Giants in 12 minutes. You can get into that game for $80 right now. If you're right by MetLife Stadium, if I was right by MetLife Stadium, I can make it within the next 12, 15, 20 minutes. I could pop this in. I'm getting into an NFL game for $80. That's what Game Time's bringing to you. You don't want to waste your time. So make sure that you're downloading the Game Time app and using code FORE, Fore, to easily score great deals with new Game Time picks. So again, for the GT picks, all you have to do is just pull up your chosen event and turn on the GT picks setting at the top of the screen. Or you can browse the best local Game Time picks deals near you on your Game Time app homepage. So what are you waiting for? I'm telling you right now, go to an NFL game, go to a concert, go to a Broadway play, come to New York, enjoy all of the arts, and make sure that you're doing it on Game Time. So download the Game Time app. Again, use the code FORE, Fore, to easily score great deals with the new Game Time picks. And what time is it, Trent? Game time. As you guys listen to this, we're flying to PGA Frisco in Texas. We're going to be filming a couple videos out there. We might be doing something with the Busted Jack boys. I heard that there's been rumblings that they're going to be out there. So hopefully that we can come up with some cool videos. I've heard that facility is incredible. We've never really been to Texas as a group.
No.
And you guys went to Blue Jack National back in the day, Tigers course.
Oh, that feels like lifetimes ago.
That was lifetimes ago. And I've never played golf in Texas, I don't believe.
Really?
Yeah, I've really never been to Texas that often. We went a couple times for the college football show. I feel like did we go to like TCU, and then we used to go to Deion Sanders' ranch for the pro football show. We used to fly in like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. So I did that a bunch. But aside from that, maybe some pizza reviews, but those are probably on the Deion trips. I don't really remember going. I've never been to Austin. I've never been to like downtown Dallas, I don't believe. So yeah, this is good. This will be my first time flying into Dallas. And I mean, it's going to be hot, which you just can't get away from in Texas. But I think it's going to be great. I think PGA Frisco is going to be fun. We haven't really had me, you, and Riggs together in a long time to like shoot videos and kind of do old school stuff. Like I said, we might collaborate with those guys. So it'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun. Travel's about to rev up pretty heavy right now.
Do you want to talk about the Iowa Hawkeyes? I
really don't, because
I don't either.
They made me sick to my stomach.
Me too.
They're a disgusting football program. I mean, you're at home. I've been playing this college football game, and I chose to take over the Iowa Hawkeyes as like my dynasty team.
Stunning.
I chose to be the head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes. I like everything, Kinnick Stadium, the whole deal, waving to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Iowa. I've been to a game. I think it's an amazing experience. I have the connection with you. Gary Ryan loves the fucking Iowa Hawkeyes. The whole family loves the Iowa Hawkeyes. And, they win week 1. They come in, they're playing Iowa State. I see them. It's, what was it, 3-point spread? It's just basically a pick 'em. They're at home. playing Iowa State. It's the biggest game. Even in my video game, like the announcers are like, "This is the biggest game of the year. This is it. It's Iowa versus Iowa State. Like winners, grab your nuts and let's just win let's win a football game." And I bet Iowa straight up money line. I'm like, I'm taking these guys for sure. They're gonna win. I'm gonna lay some money. We're gonna do this. We're gonna just roll over Iowa State like I did in the video game. And they played well in the beginning.
Yeah.
Your guy Ferentz comes out to many men by fucking 50 Cent because of a 1-game suspension.
A self-imposed 1-game suspension.
Self-imposed one, yeah. Self-imposed.
Lead from the front, honor and integrity.
Put himself in the jail cell and then made a huge stink about getting out of it.
Yeah, that's my guy.
And then, they jump out to a lead and then they just stopped playing football offensively, which it's like, I know last year and the years before and the years before and the years before. I was going to say
last year.
Well, last year I started betting on them a lot. It's like, you can't believe they're not scoring more touchdowns. It's like games are ending 7-3 and you're like, how is this happening? But this year it's like, all right, they put up like a 40 burger on these guys last week, right? Like they put up like 40 or 50.
I was there.
Yeah, Illinois State, they absolutely rolled them. So you're like, all right, maybe this is it, Maybe this is it. Cade McNamara. I mean, I'm all in on this team, right? And they have 19 points. You're like, we're gonna roll these guys, and they just fucking stopped playing offense in the second half. And it was so much so that like I chalked it up to a win after the first 2 quarters. I'm like, oh, it's just a win. They're playing great defense.
Me too.
They scored a couple times, no problem. And the last couple drives are sickening. I mean, you can go into more detail about it, but they're truly sickening. To lose that game is sickening. I mean, it's hard to really fathom. That final drive is like, makes me sick.
I want to officially welcome you to being a Hawk fan after watching that game, because that's what it is. Like 40-0 against Illinois State, it was great, but if you watch the first half of that game, it was horrific. And then they turned it on a little bit, got a little lucky in the second half, ended up winning 40-0. Yeah, and then the game against the Cyclones is more of the same. That we just don't. We never have an offense. And last year, Cade McNamara, he got hurt, and we had a quarterback who, boy, seemed like a nice guy, but just a really, really bad D1 college football quarterback that didn't deserve to be out there. Love the guy, but it's just like, and then Cade's back, but it's the whole offense is, it's always terrible pretty much. There's some years like in the past where it's been good, but it's always really good defense, really good special teams, and you just pray that the offense is good. Like in the last couple of years, if we had an average offense, we would have been a top 5 team in the country. But it's 100%. The defense is so good, the special teams is so good, and it's just we can't score points. And it's been like that forever. And having you witness it firsthand yesterday with a little bit of money on the line, it's going to stick with you, but that's just what it's like to be a Hawk fan. And yeah, Kirk Ferentz, people are already calling for his head again. They were like, we won the game when you were suspended. Then you came back to mini-men and we lost, and we stalled in the second half with an offense. We just keep going. Kirk's going to get a statue when it's all said and done. He's got a lifetime contract pretty much. He got rid of his son last year, but he still runs the show. It's a pretty standard, boring offense, regardless of who the quarterback is. And it's such a weird team to root for and also like be angry at, because they'll be bad and they'll have the worst offense in the country and they'll win 9-10 games. And you're like, I don't know what to do with that. They'll get to the Big Ten championship and get blown out. I've been to 2 of those games with Dave Portnoy, and I just go and it's lambs to slaughter. I go to Indianapolis, I get on the private jet with Dave, and I'm like, here we go. I'm just going to watch this team get obliterated by Michigan. It's been that way the last couple of years. So, yeah, we roll forward. Is your franchise, are you guys undefeated?
No, I started losing every game. I had to stop. I think I'm moving on to another team. It's one of those clean resets, and then and after last, I can't even look at the colors anymore. Like after yesterday, because that was my team. Like I was sprinkling like some bets on the DraftKings Sportsbook, and then Iowa was the one that I really honed in on. I just really just I dipped my whole leg in there instead of the toe, and
they even betrayed us on the unders. Like I know Alex Bush has been betting the unders for 2 years now, but the first week the over under was 41 points. Hawks scored 40, didn't allow another point. They're the under kings. And then yesterday I think the over under was probably 35. Alex Bush, you were
36.
36, and it's just like when they start betraying you on the under, people are going to start abandoning this team. Not me, because I'm from there, but they're just, they're the Iowa Hawkeyes, and I love them and I hate them. and that's the way it's always going to be.
It's like you have Caleb Johnson. He ran for 187 yards with 2 TDs. You're like, that's
awesome.
awesome. And then you have Cade McNamara with a big old 59.7 QB rating, 99 yards, 0 TDs, 2 interceptions, 13 for 29. That's as bad as it gets. Throw the football better. Let's move that ball in the air. Let's move that pigskin. I want to see that pig flying next week, but I'm not betting him next week.
It's crazy that Cade McNamara was on one of the Michigan teams that I saw destroy the Hawkeyes in the Big Ten championship. And then he came over, and the Hawk Nation was excited because he's a real quarterback with real skills. But it depends on everybody else around him and the offensive system, whatever. We don't have to turn this into an Iowa Hawkeye football podcast, but we move onward and upward, and that is what it is.
Onward and upward is right. I played a really cool round of golf the other day at this place, Piping Rock, and I just want to talk about it. I wasn't able to really post any photos of it. They're super exclusive and kind of I don't know. They just don't really want too much promotion, but it's a golf course that here on Long Island, if you've heard of it, it's Piping Rock and the Creek. They're old C.V. McDonald tracks with all of those iconic template holes where it's the Biarritz and the Punch Bowl and the and all those. I mean, I'm kind of blanking on them, but all those types of greens that you've seen at iconic golf courses around the world. And it's just so old school, and it's a big open field, and I played so well there. I made 4 birdies in one round, and it was just one of those days that I was walking around just really, really appreciating playing some top tier Long Island golf, a place that I got to play Piping Rock when I was in high school. The last time I walked up to that first tee, I was in high school, 10th grade. We played Locust Valley, East Meadow versus Locust Valley, and their home track was pipe. They were able to get out of Piping Rock for a couple matches. And I remember talking to one of the guys at the starter shack, and he's like, yeah, when kids come out here like that, they don't really realize the type of golf course they're playing. It's right. You don't you go from playing Eisenhower and Bethpage, and then you get a match at this place Piping Rock, and the coach, my coach Reynolds, is you guys have no idea where we're playing today. It's insane. It'd be getting out at Shinnecock for a high school 9-hole match. You're you can't believe it. So it was cool to kind of reminisce on the holes that I did remember, and put yourself back in the shoes of a whatever it was, 15-year-old, 14-year-old walking around trying to really learn the game of golf, playing this golf course, and then fast forwarding to now part of a golf brand. Golf has become my job, and I started the first hole off with a perfect drive right down the middle, and then I hit a pitching wedge to 2 feet and made a birdie. I'm things have just progressed here. You know what I mean? It was cool. It was a very, I don't know, it was a cool round of golf for me. I play a lot of golf out here on Long Island, but for some reason that one at Piping Rock was special. And I didn't even I played with a couple of the guys that played for the Islanders, and one kid that's a member there that's a local Long Island guy who's now is getting a shot with the Islanders. And I didn't even tell them anything about how cool it was. It was all day I was kind of just soaking it in. It was a trip down memory lane, but also kind of just eye-opening to just where everything's kind of come. It was really cool. I love that spot. So if that place, it's one of those golf courses where if it was on the water, it would be a top 20 golf course in the world. Yeah. It's so good inland, so good, but there's no views. There's nothing. There's none of that. So, which I'm a huge views guy, but yeah, it was great. It was really cool.
Awesome. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think. I mean, I do want to get to this Brian Harman interview. There really was not much. There's not much going on in the world of golf right now.
No, the season ended, and we're just kind of hanging now. I did want to mention, I saw right before I came on here, Kendrick Lamar halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be big.
Tough for Drake.
Yeah, that is tough for Drake.
They went through this whole thing where Kendrick clearly won. There's no doubt about it. I like Drake. I like both the guys, but Kendrick destroyed Drake. And now the next thing that Kendrick is going to do is he's going to do the Super Bowl, which is the biggest show you can do in the world. And if he does one of the Drake disses during the Super Bowl, that's going to be a moment.
Do you think it's difficult for the NFL to decide what kind of route they want to go for the halftime show? Because it seems like they're going all in on the younger audience, and you're really, really telling the older audience to go fuck themselves by putting Kendrick Lamar as the halftime show, right?
But are they not? They're not going to watch. They're just not going to watch the Super Bowl.
No, but you know how it's going to be. It's like there are certain artists that could appeal to both. There's a nostalgia feel for the younger crowd that if you put them out there, like they might be like, oh, these guys like I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
But
of
we
like,
did that forever, and then they alienated
Right.
the young crowd. You had 80-year-old rock stars up there, and you're like,
right.
you know who doesn't give a fuck about these people? 20-year-olds. So they maybe could pick more of a down the middle, but you're right. They are really going down the like, it's the young crowd.
Yeah, I mean Kendrick is a young. That's like we're going for the TikToks. Like we're going for all of like that's deep.
Well, they
deep.
could even. It's in New Orleans. I thought they were going to go Lil Wayne. That would have been a little bit wider.
That
But
would
it's,
have been
I mean,
way
the old
wider.
people still wouldn't know, but like my generation, that Lil Wayne was our
100%.
guy. So, but Kendrick it's definitely a pick where they're definitely riding the momentum of a guy who has been in the limelight for the last 4 months because he was in a beef with Drake.
That's tough. And Drake's got a great life. Nothing's really tough for him.
Dude,
Like
also he put out these like 100 gigs, like their Circadian Rhythm and No Face. Those songs are fantastic. Like I'm not so invested in a hip hop beef anymore where I'm not going to listen to one guy because one guy is dissing him and winning. Like that was
Right.
Drake makes incredible music and there's no getting around it. I'm going to just plant my flag with Kendrick and be like, I'm not listening to Drake, the most listened to artist of the last 10 years. No chance.
Right.
No chance.
Drake's never done a Super Bowl, right?
No.
See, that one would go big because he has major bangers that everyone's heard on the radio throughout his catalog of music.
Yeah.
That one would kind of transcend because he's that fucking big. You know who I thought it was going to be, but New Orleans makes more sense that it's not. Like I honestly thought it would be like a Post Malone kind of guy.
I thought the same thing.
I thought he's, because he could do country, he can do like that straight hip hop type of music that he has some of the top 10 hits that you just know. I mean, if you go through Post Malone's top 10, it's crazy. It's like every song that you just know. I thought he would get it this year. He's had a really big year. But yeah, Kendrick that's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. I mean, that's gonna be a tough day for Drake because every meme, every tweet is gonna be not about Kendrick. It's gonna be about like Drake, like rest in peace Drake. Everything, especially if they play that song.
If he plays Not Like Us, that's gonna be oh my. But the NFL is just they're like we're doing hip hop, which I like because a couple of years ago they did Dre and Snoop and 50 Cent was there and Eminem was there.
That was in LA, right?
What's that?
That was in LA.
Yeah, I think. It was, and I was like, this is my dream come true. So yeah, Kendrick will be interesting, but I just wanted to mention that because I saw it right before it came on.
No, it should be good. I can't believe I thought for sure Taylor Swift would get one too.
I think did. I hear, and Alex Bush is about to chime in. I watch his mute go away. Didn't she turn it down?
In the past, she has because she's so big that like it's like what does that do for her? But I don't think they would do it while Travis is in the NFL. I just think that's weird.
Do you think Taylor Swift's too big for the Super Bowl show?
I don't think she is, but I just don't know how much that grows her brand, if that makes sense. But now with her surrounding football so much, it would.
That doesn't make sense to me. If you're the biggest entertainer in the world, doing the biggest show in the world is definitely a net positive.
No, 100%. I'm just saying it's not going to grow her as much as it would someone else.
It's not like if you look at your schedule,
the biggest star in the world.
Teeny little show in the middle called the Super Bowl. We got to just get past that one. Oh, what is that venue? It's only like 80,000 people. It's fine.
Well, yeah, but and I've heard that argument where it's like she sells out football stadiums 100 times a year, but then you're also
not the whole stadium, right? Not the whole stadium, Alex. She like cuts off a lot of seats.
Yeah, a few seats, but she's got floor seats. So,
but also you're not accounting for the 110 million people that are watching on TV.
I want to see Taylor Swift do the show.
Me too.
Taylor Swift would fucking crush the Super Bowl halftime show.
How about this?
She already does a Super Bowl halftime show for 4.5 hours at NFL stadiums. She is already doing it. I would love to see it.
How about this, Alex Bush? Her and Kendrick have a song together, right?
Yeah, Bad Blood. That would be sick.
Bring her out.
That would be sick.
Just for an appearance and then get out of there.
Chiefs won't be in it anyway, so that'd be awesome.
Alex Bush just got the chills right up his gravy ass fucking neck.
Oh, you think she'll be there anyway, right? That makes sense. The AFC representation will be from Kansas City.
I'm saying she'll just be there because like her and Travis will be in a box watching the Bills in the Super Bowl, so it'll be sweet.
This is the start. And for people that don't know, which is everybody, we're recording this 20 minutes before kickoff of the NFL season. So we're going to get to it. I know Alex Bush he's got the Bills are about to play. This is his whole life. Like he's got this podcast that he produces, and then the rest of his life is the Bills.
It's the only thing that matters in my life.
You're about to watch the roller coaster start. We're right at the beginning. People are putting in their chairs. They're clamping down. They're ready to go on the ride. And who knows what that Buffalo Bills ride is going to be like? Because every year, I always think like, Josh Allen, he's like the MVP pick for me always. I always think he's going to win it. And then they have a weird season and they lose in the playoffs and it's over and Alex Bush is sad. And I feel like it's probably going to happen again.
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Hey, if the MVP was the most valuable player, he'd be every year.
I'm riding Kincaid and James Cook. I'm a Bills guy today, just for fantasy reasons. I got to get off to a good start. So hopefully both those guys get in the end zone, and I am cruising to a week 1 victory. I got a lot to live up to. The guy that I'm playing just had a huge Thursday and Friday. It's not good. So I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to go right into this Brian Harman interview. Hopefully people stuck around the Trent and Frankie show. We didn't really have much to talk about here, but we do have one of our best interviews we've had in a long time here with Brian Harman. We're going to be doing a lot more with him. We're already in a group chat, setting up videos and matches and all that. He's apparently now a big fan, and we're a big fan of his. So this is Brian Harman, and Trent, Alex, have a great football Sunday, our first of the year. Very exciting. I'll see you both I'll see Trent in Nashville for the Barstool Classic, and I'll see Alex in Texas. Is that right? You'll be out there.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the gravy bowls. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Get ready for game day with the latest addition to the Barstool Sports rival collection, Barstool College. I'm talking Shady Rays, and if you're watching right now on the video portion of our podcast, we're wearing our Shady Rays Barstool College edition, and I feel fantastic in these.
I feel cool. Every time I put these on, people are like, those are for you. Wear those all the time.
You look amazing.
Thank you very much. And I really do. It like almost changes my personality. I feel cooler. I don't generally feel that cool, but when I throw on these Shady Rays, I feel cool, and I think people look at that guy and they say, that guy's kind of cool.
Let me tell you something. These are working because I can't see anything ahead of me because I got all these screens and I got all these lights in front of me. It's working, man. It's really just knocking out. It's blocking out all that light. Shady Rays has partnered with Barstool Sports to bring you the new lineup of premium polarized shades that are perfect for showing off your team pride. The Barstool College Collection features bold colorways inspired by some of the biggest teams and names in college sports, ensuring you'll find the perfect pair to rep your team. I'm telling you right now, as you can hear from that read and as you can see on our faces, they are bold and they are team colored. So make sure you check that website out, which is shadyrays.com, to see if you can find your color combo that you want to rep your team, whether you're at the tailgate or in the stands. These shades deliver all-day comfort and top-notch performance. Plus, with Shady Rays hassle-free returns and exchanges, you can shop with confidence. Elevate your game day look today with the Barstool College Collection. Head over to shadyrays.com and use code FORE, F-O-R-E, to get 35% off polarized sunglasses. See for yourself why over 300,000 people have rated these shades 5 stars. What's up, Brian Harman?
Y'all doing all right?
We're doing great.
Where are you at here?
I'm in my shop.
I heard about this shop.
Good shop.
It looks nice. It looks like
It's the only thing I actually own.
What do you do in this shop? What are you trying to accomplish? Is this like building new clubs?
Well,
Is this like tinkering with putters?
I keep on my stuff. I've got my let me see here. I got like a
wow.
My simulator. Got my it's like a big barn. I'm always tinkering with something. My buddy, he didn't take his choke out of his duck gun. We're trying to dove hunt Sunday. So I've got it soaking in this rust killer right now, trying to get this goddamn choke out of here.
I was going to say, I was envisioning your shop being way more about hunting and fishing than it was about golf, for sure.
I mean, this is the. I mean, I got my clubs right here, and that's about all we. But I got a simulator. I mean, I've used it a time or two. End up watching football on it all the time.
You're I mean, it's a good time for you guys with football. You guys are feeling good.
Dogs are a problem, man.
Go Dogs.
They're a problem.
I hit up Kiz and I was like, we're going to have Brian on the show. What are some things, we need to know? And he said, he's a dead eye with a bow and arrow, but he could sometimes miss a layup with a rifle when our levels get a little bit off.
You gotta get your mix right. Mix gets a little off.
What's the right mix?
I mean, you need to be. Well, I phrase this. You need to be in the right frame of mind with the rifle.
Yeah, it's a flow state. You got to find yourself in the right flow state. Everything's just kind of firing on all cylinders, no pun intended.
Control your breathing.
Yeah, right. Control your breathing. We try to do that with golf because we're kind of casual weekend golfers, and you got to get in the right you got to get your levels right. And when you don't, it could be really, really ugly. But when you do, you could turn into, a Brian Harman, turn into a major championship.
Well, it's like when you're playing pool and you've had the perfect amount, and then you're making everything, and then it's like one more, you just you're like pool sticks keep the only thing propping you up.
Dude, pool's a great example because you can just be a sharp all night, not lose a game, and then you come back, somebody's cooking breakfast or something, so you're dead sober in the morning, and you wander over to the table and take a couple shots, and you're like clanking it off the side. You can't hit it.
Pulling darts.
Yeah.
You get just right with darts, and you're like, oh.
My buddy Jeremy's a really good dart player. It's fucking infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. The more he drinks, the better it gets. It sucks. The other thing Kiz told me was that he said he likes terrible movies and has the worst show recommendations of all time.
No, okay, look. We're in elk camp, and I'm making him watch Jeremiah Johnson. You guys ever seen Jeremiah Johnson, the old Robert Redford movie?
No.
It's incredible. Guy goes up into the mountains by himself. Gets done with some war, and he gets up there. I mean, it's a classic movie. Just because Kiz doesn't have the patience to enjoy like a book or a longer movie doesn't mean that I have a poor taste.
Kiz is definitely not a book guy. There's no way he's a book guy.
No, he's not. He's more of like a quick action. He's a big Jason Statham guy.
Yeah.
All that. The new movie, The Beekeeper, that's got Kevin Kisner written all over it.
Frankie's kind of our movie guy. Frankie's our movie guy. I feel like he gets.
I don't know why I can't get into.
Let's hear it. I love movies.
I don't know. I
love movies.
I get like pretty deep into like just like the cinematography of it and like the music and the scores and like not so deep where I'm like an asshole about it, but like I really get swept up in like the feel, like how a movie makes you feel. Like when you go to a movie theater, like is it making you grip into your seat? Is it making you sit back? Like that stuff.
So you were big like 1917.
Yeah, like that's like if you can put me in a little theater with a nice surround sound and like you're hearing the bullets whiz by, like that's an experience to me.
Yeah,
movies to me are a part of life that when I go into a movie, I should be able to see something I can't see in the regular world, or I don't want to see in the regular world. It's something that takes me to another place. So like, I do love the classics, like a movie like Rudy. I could watch it every single night, but that's just a story that you could have watched unfold on TV. You can read that story about a guy that played for Notre Dame, but like a space.
Yeah, and he was offside.
Right, he was offside. That's right.
It was very offside.
And we're not going to hate on Rudy over here. That's crazy. We're going to get canceled. But it's like
the anti-Rudy show. Let's not be the anti.
But like you watch a movie, I don't know, like fucking Star Wars or something, and you're like, that's something that someone just like came up with and out of their brain. Like I love creativity in movies like that. So when I see all these like remakes and shit,
how about these
Dune?
How about these Dune movies?
Unbelievable!
Awesome.
I came on this podcast and I went crazy about Dune. That movie theater experience is insane. Did you see the new one?
You should read the book.
I've heard the book is phenomenal.
Incredible.
I know. I've heard the book's
phenomenal.
Great.
The
The new one.
And I'm not the read the book guy either, because the movie's raw.
Well, I'm dealing with the read the book
Movies.
thing with all these, like the House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. Like I've heard House of the Dragon book is so much better than this new series, which I love the new series, but it's like
it's okay. Fire and Blood, it's like a history novel.
Oh, so
it's
you've
like
read it.
I have read it. I tell you what though, you need to be careful reading the book, because the book is over such a long, like you go halfway through the book before House of Dragons starts.
Right.
And then you keep reading. And I'm watching the end of season 2, and it's starting to wind down. I'm like, they better hurry. There's a lot of stuff that's got to happen. But
right.
Season 3 and 4, they're going to be electric.
Yeah.
I think. If it goes by the book.
That's kind of what I've heard too. So you're saying it's not like, you're saying they're not thrilling necessarily. They're sort of like just telling you history throughout the books.
So I think what's interesting about like House of Dragon and Fire and Blood, the book, is just the suddenness of the events, because you're in this fantasy world with dragons and whatever else, but then all of a sudden, like in the book, you're like, and then a plague came and half the characters you've been reading about are dead.
Yeah,
it's like 2 sentences. You're like, what well, where'd everybody go? But that's like it's kind of like life. It's just like something happens, and then now it's different, and we just go from there.
I remember that with the Harry Potter books. Frankie's a big Harry Potter guy too, but he starts laughing. I had like it was in like
we like worms coming out of the ground, but we don't like wizards and witches. I mean, come on.
I don't know why it feels different.
It does. Come on.
We're
it feels different. I don't know
but
why.
you got like a wizard, and it's all of a sudden fucking too much. But anyways, I remember I watched. It was in like high school, and they only had 3 or 4 of the movies. Like 3 movies had come out at that point, and I started watching the movies. So I got through the first 3, but then they didn't have any more of the movies, but they had all the books. And so like the 4th one was the first book that I had read, and that was kind of the first time that I understood the book people versus the movie people, because reading that book, it was so much deeper. She had become like such a better and more comprehensive writer at that point, because I did go back eventually and read the first 3 books, and it was like darker. The books were darker than a lot of the movies even portrayed it, just because you had all the context. And so I could I've been wondering, because I've only done with Game of Thrones, with Dragon, I've only watched all this stuff. I've never read anything, but I'm almost a little worried that if I start reading, I'm just going to get immersed in it. And it's when you get into a book, I feel like it's the only thing in your life until you finish the book.
Well, I think they ran, the last couple of Game of Thrones, they ran out of source material because they outran the books. So I think, the books, even Fire and Bloods, it's a good book, but the show is really, I think the show is really good.
So you're into movies, you're a big TV guy?
Yeah, I watch some TV.
I mean, I assume, like, I don't know how you became such a good golfer while you're on Impractical Jokers, because that every single episode, I mean, there's a million of them. How many times have you gotten this comparison?
I've got to find a better way.
Do you see the screen? I mean, I've tweeted this.
I know, dude. I've got to find a better way to deal with it. When someone brings it up in the wild, I've got to come up with a better response, because my response right now is, ugh.
Listen, it is what it is.
I know. It's a me problem. But someone's like, "Oh, you look like the guy from just stop it."
I know you've heard it a million times. I get Seth MacFarlane. I get a lot of female actresses. A lot of people call me. But yeah,
you get JT.
I get Justin Thomas. I got Justin Thomas so much to the point that a guy at this place, Ken from Ken Sushi. Have you ever been to this sushi spot by Torrey Pines? It's like apparently it's like...
Yeah, I have.
So
it's great.
The guy comes out, and we're there with all the guys from Full Swing Launch Monitors, and we're having a great day. Ken from Ken Sushi's bringing out all of his select sushis, and at the end, he starts to like wave this smoke in front of me, and he's like blessing me, and he's like, "You're gonna win." He grabs my hand. He goes, "You're gonna win a major this year," and I said, "What?"
No, I'm not.
And then
really unlikely, Ken.
What's crazy is I messaged JT about this, and JT won a fucking major that year. Like he fucking won the PGA. So I was like,
so here's this guy. He's like, the smoke works. It works.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, you get JT.
Yeah, when I had all the lettuce, I used to get Mark Wahlberg all the time. Now I get Murr from Impractical Jokers.
Damn, man. This episode is presented by Kraken, one of the longest standing and most secure crypto platforms in the world. Kraken is your guide to financial freedom, offering safe and simple access to crypto for all. Trusted by over 13 million individuals, traders, and institutions around the world, Kraken offers professional 24/7, 365 client support, along with one of the fastest and most performant trading platforms available. Kraken leads with transparency and trust, securing clients' funds, NFTs, and privacy through top-notch security. This is not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss and is offered to U.S. customers, excluding Washington, New York, and Maine through Payward Interactive Inc. View legal disclosures at kraken.com legal disclosures. Go to kraken.com/barstool and see what crypto can be. You know what it is, dude? Fuck, man, you're such a nice guy. You're laughing all the jokes. Like I can't sit here and say I've made jokes about you on this podcast. Like I've done it, and I'm sorry about that. That's me just owning up to this.
Man.
Like I've thrown a little joke in from time to time, and it's just like it's unfortunate. Like that's the internet, right? Like we just throw things at people. We're on you for the waggles. We're on you for like not being the tallest guy on tour and shit.
I'm easy to hate, bud. I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what? Everyone used to pull on the underdog. Everyone used to be like,
"That's a great point.
Underdog time." Now it's like, "Oh, Brian Harman, hell with that guy."
I think we've actually brought that up, Brian. I think we've brought that up that like an undersized lefty going out there winning the Open, like beating guys that are hitting the ball a mile long, like you're doing it your way. We've talked about that a lot. And I don't know why. I think that you do get hurt by the way that they cut the broadcast, where it's like you have your process. I'm a big process guy now. It's funny how I've evolved. Like I go to Dr. Brett McCabe. I go to Dr. Brett McCabe. I did a whole series with him. I don't know if you've like ever been in his circle, but like
I know Doc.
Yeah, so it's like
Doc, right.
He wrote process on my glove, and it's like really talk it out. I'm a very like crazy, fast twitch, wild brain guy. I should talk out my shot. I should say watch this instead of look out. I should be doing all of these things, right? And I think I started to learn about how important the process is. But then, if you're watching something like the Open and it's fast paced and guys are hitting great shots, and then they cut to you and you're at the beginning of your process to a viewer, it's like, holy fuck, man. It's like, why do we have to watch this guy go through this entire thing? Why can't they just cut to you right before you hit your golf shot? I think you do get hit.
Yeah,
I think you get hurt by that a little bit.
Definitely.
Well,
I
think I got hurt because it just wasn't that much of a golf tournament.
Yeah.
Like I was running away. I was playing really good. And there just really wasn't anything that was, something horrible had to happen. Yeah. Just the form I was in, mindset I was in, it was just my week. And so they didn't have much of a story to tell. It's like, well, it kind of sucks to watch him play. So we're just going to make a big deal out of that.
Oh, you go ahead, Riggs.
Well, I just can't believe they hit you with the waggle counter. Were you like, that's something we would do. Like, honestly, on a Barstool broadcast.
Yeah, that was shocking.
We would fuck with you and be like, waggle counter. People are like, those guys are edgy. And then they did that on NBC during the Open coverage. I couldn't fucking believe they did that.
Well, what's great is that, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've gotten way better, and no one cares. So it's funny. I'm at a tournament the other day, and inevitably you'll get like 6 Barstool fans together, and then they'll be like, 1, 2, 3.
Amazing.
They're counting the waggles. So I'm at the I think it's the U.S. Open, and these guys, I'm over it. And they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I hit it, and they're like, "Oh shit, that wasn't that bad." It's like, good. Yes, that's right. I've been working on this, clowns.
That's so good.
So talk to us a little bit about like how did you get to the point where it was at its height, right? It went viral. They have a shock. They have a waggle counter at the Open Championship, and then now that you've like worked on it. What is that process like? Like, how do you get to that point in the beginning? And then how do you work on something like that? How do you get out of that? After you win the Open, how are you going to change anything?
Man, it's really hard. I've told the story a bunch, but when I first got on tour, I was like one of the fastest guys out there. Like they do this thing where they have your shot clock, like how long you take, and they keep up with it, and you can look at it and see like where you rank on tour as far as how long it takes you to do everything. And I was always top 5, top 8, top 10. Was a super fast player as a junior golfer. And I just found myself standing around all day and just getting so frustrated with guys that were taking from me. Like, it drove me nuts. And so I talked to Lucas Glover as a dear friend, like, because he's a fast player. I'm like, hey, bud, I'm dying out here, man. I'm going nuts. Like, what? He goes, if he told me if I could do it over again, I'd slow down. Just because, like, I've spent my whole career playing fast, and it doesn't do you any good. You end up, almost trying to prove a point with how fast you're playing sometimes. He's like, I felt like it cost me a bunch of shots. And so first I slowed down with like my putting. Like, I would always hit a couple putts before I was ready to putt. And it worked. Like, my putting inside of 10 feet, like, shot through the roof. Just because I was like, I'm just not going to hit this putt till I'm ready to hit it. That was my first thought. And then I was like, Well, I probably hit a couple drives that I'm not ready to hit, so I slowed down there, and then I slowed down with like my iron shots, and so the whole process just got slower. And to speed it back up, I've been at home, and when I play golf at home, it's like I'm trying to get there. I just trying to get there quicker, just trying to get to that spot a little bit quicker, because it's not like it's not like the routine is like the same every time. It's I'm not going until I'm ready. I'm not going until I'm ready. And it just got kind of bogged down. But it's hard. You start playing really well, and you're like, well, you're playing too slow. I'm like, well, no, not really. I don't. I've never been fine for slow play. When it's my turn, like it's not like it becomes my turn. I'm like, oh, like let me see what my yardage is.
Right.
Like I'm ready to go. And then when it's my turn, like I start my all this.
Yeah, I mean, anytime
shit.
anyone does anything different, everyone always jumps on it. We're absolutely victim of that. But we also say we used to hate on Bryson when he was spraying golf balls and he was coming up with new irons and he was trying to find the dew point and the whatever that was with the flag. He used to use all the terminology of the flag stick, right? The restitution of the flag stick. And then we would, at the end of the podcast, be like, you know what, though? He's playing phenomenal golf. Like, why would you ever change anything? And I think with you, it's the same way where it's like, why would he stop? He won the Open Championship doing whatever process it was. That's obviously all positive stuff. It's not a negative. So that has to be pretty hard to try and go home and be like, I have to make this quicker just for reasons that are not your game, really. Like, why does it matter?
It wasn't really driven by it. It started feeling like, okay, like it's taking me too long to arrive at where I feel comfortable.
I see.
Like I'm starting to think about it. I'm starting to be like, you're standing over this too long. See, it wasn't like
try and please somebody.
Would I like to be enjoyable to watch and be a fan favorite? Of course I would. But that's not why, that's not why I do anything. Right. Like, I mean, I love, I play golf. I play golf because it's something that occupies my brain, and it's something that is, torturously impossible to be really good at, and something that is constantly needs maintenance, and there's just always something to do with golf. That's why I play golf. I love being competitive. The fan stuff, it's a byproduct.
I do find that to be one of the most interesting parts about golf is that it's not like this. Like everyone just kind of gets better forever until you die. It is just like a roller coaster. And it's something that I think for people that play just a little bit of a taste, but don't really have the time or the resources to work on it, that they don't fully understand. But it's like, I look at a guy, like we're going to get into the President's Cup, and Justin Thomas, who's a great friend of the program, love having him on. When he came out in 2017 and had that insane year where he won a major championship, he shot a 59, he shot a 63 in a U.S. Open that year. And it's like, well, Justin Thomas he's not exclusively just 7 years better now than he was then. There's times where he's won another major since then. He's won the Players Championship. He's had stretches, but it's like, you're always, like you said, maintaining and working on different parts. And when one part really is taken off, you're driving it amazingly, all of a sudden maybe your short game is really struggling. And that puts a lot of pressure on your iron game because you can't miss greens. And it's like, it's just this constant struggle almost, which is kind of representative of life, and you can get really deep on it. But I do think that the more we've done this show, the more we've gotten into golf, we've done 700 or 800 episodes of this. It's like taken that much time almost for me to kind of realize that, dude, no matter what you do, I'm never going to get to a point where it's like, all right, now I've just got it. And then I got it forever. It's like, no, dude, you're going to have to work on it forever. And it's always going to be a battle. And that's kind of the beauty of it.
Well, yeah, dude, that's really like, I have nothing to add. That's perfect. That's perfectly said. Yeah, man, it's constant. There's always something. Like I think about my year this year. Someone asked me earlier, like, how was your year like? I was like, well, statistically, I probably had my best year. I said, but mentally, it was the most frustrating year that maybe I've had on tour, because I knew that all I needed to do was have it come together for a week, and the whole year changes. A good year goes to a great year, but just didn't happen, and it just didn't feel like it was going to happen. Meanwhile, I'm hitting it further, hitting it better than I've hit it in my entire life, and just can't put it all together for a week. So there's always something. It's like you look back, I'm like, man, if I have an average year putting, I probably win 2 or 3 times. The kids, I had a down year putting. It's like the thing that I do, that I always do is putt good, and it's the one thing that I didn't do great for stretches this year.
Yeah, it's infuriating. Man. It's just an infuriating game.
It's infuriating.
Let's talk about this team stuff. So, Ryder Cup last year, going into hostile environment. You were the reigning Open champion. You had kind of gone into Liverpool and stolen the thunder. There were some different fan favorites popped up, and it was just Brian Harman winning by 6. A couple months later, you return in Europe. You played with Max Homa a bunch. What was because I know you had heard, I imagine, all the hype that there's nothing like hitting first tee shot at the Ryder Cup. There's nothing like playing in that environment. We had Keegan on like a month ago, and he like almost was in tears, being like, you guys have no idea the intensity of what it's like in that locker room. So you go through the gala and all the BS, and you get to Paris. What was your mindset, and what was that experience like kicking off the Ryder Cup?
It's so hard. Until you've done it, it's like impossible to explain, because it feels like you're going to war is what it feels like. It feels like war. I mean, we as golfers, you don't get to play in a hostile environment very often. Usually it's golf. It's not, we don't get to play any away football games. But that's what it felt like. It felt like you were going somewhere where it was not friendly. And it was tough, but I thought it was awesome. I mean, I think I would almost prefer to play away than I would at home, just because it seems like it's way harder. They make it really tough on you, but like there's nothing like making a putt and having them go quiet. For me, that's like the ultimate existence in golf.
Well, that's also been like your life. You said you're like the underdog, so that makes sense that you'd want to go to the away stadium and like go to into the hostile environment and shut everybody up, because probably your whole entire life everyone's like, there's no chance this guy has any chance. He's never going to make it. And you're like, well, watch this putt go in and I'm going to make it. And like doing that's on a grand scale. I was there. I was in Rome for Sunday. Yeah, it was interesting, like just how hostile it was, like with the hat stuff and just like they were just on you guys, which is great. Like you gotta be like, it was we're on
the hat stuff. What a joke that
it was a joke.
Rory doesn't wear a hat in any Ryder Cup, and he's Mr. Europe. And Pat takes his hat off, and they think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like,
it was ridiculous.
Then you got guys that are feeding into it, like JT had a great Sunday, and he's like tipping his no hat to everybody. It's just like that's going into
it's peak living.
It really is. I just being there, you got the chills. I can't even imagine having to hit golf shots. So,
it's so sick. I mean, I think the greatest, like, so Max and we played incredible Saturday. And I told him right after the match, it's just not many times where I was like, hey, boss, there are 2 people on planet Earth that would have beat us today. Planet Earth. 2 people. It doesn't matter who it is. No one was beating us today. You just don't get many days like that. You're like, yep, today's kind of the pinnacle. This is one of the pinnacles of our golfing careers, like today.
I've talked to a bunch of guys like in different sports, and in particular, a lot of hockey guys that say going to like really hostile away games makes them play better. They actually enjoy that, similar to what you said, because like they feel like a team more. You're on the road, you're in a place that you're not comfortable with. Everyone's just kind of getting dinners together. Like it's just different than sleeping in your own bed. I know it's different because like the Ryder Cup, you're all kind of displaced. You're in like a neutral location somewhere in the country, but like that feeling of, all right, we're on someone else's soil, and like we need to like, it's almost like ruining someone else's time, like another fan's time, is almost better than satisfying the home fan. Like sending 100%. Them home crying is way better than everyone just shaking hands, being like, all right, we won. Next time, like let's just go home and get a beer.
It's why I think I haven't done any good at Augusta, because it's like the only place where I have like lots of fans. Like, oh, go Dog, Georgia guy. I play terrible.
Way to go, Brian.
I play terrible every
Yay.
time.
Dude, this is
Yay,
interesting.
Brian! Yay!
Now we're just in a Dr. Brett McCabe like session right now, right? Like we
yeah.
gotta send.
Dive in there.
We gotta
does that
send
make you feel?
haters to Augusta next year.
Haters, man.
Just like fuck you, Mur. Like just
Be waggling. Oh, you want another one? You want another one? 12, 13.
sticks it to 2 feet. 30. Let's go.
You want another one?
Hey, man, wrestling needs a heel. Waggle it, stick it.
100%. Go into it. Dive deep, man. I love that. If you mid waggle, if you turned to the camera and said, "You want another one?" I'd fucking shit my pants.
Oh, it's like my favorite. We go back to movies. Jim Carrey did that Man on the Moon about Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
I haven't seen it, but I heard
he's in there.
Phenomenal.
Dude, it is so. He's the original troll.
Yeah.
Andy Kaufman was the original troll. And he's in this wrestling. He gets into wrestling with Jerry the King Lawler, and Andy Kaufman's in the middle of this. He's in the middle of Memphis, and he's about to wrestle, and he's got this thing of toilet paper. He's like, "People of Memphis, this is toilet paper."
Yes.
It's
I love it.
You. That's
Oh
gotta
my
be
God,
good. There
that's
is
so
something
good.
there, man. Like you going in, like you being in the hostile environment when you won the Open and realizing like people are against me, the waggle
There's
bullshit,
something there, man.
Europeans, and you're just like, yeah, fuck you guys. I'm gonna come out of here and win. You got that like bulldog.
Storm the castle.
There's something there.
TD, Tutty, taking it to the house, in for 6, whatever you want to call a touchdown. One thing's for sure, touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. On the ground, in the air, from the special teams or defense, we do not care how they score them. We want to bet on touchdowns. That's all we want, Trent. And on the DraftKings Sportsbook, it's the #1 place to bet touchdowns. I was all in on Derrick Henry. I could not wait for that game to start with the Ravens against the Chiefs Thursday. It was the NFL kickoff. Derrick Henry is my guy on Baltimore. He gets in. That's what we're talking about. We pick a guy to get a touchdown. He gets a touchdown. That's why we're doing DraftKings Sportsbook, Trent.
I'm on CeeDee Lamb today. People are going to know by the time they hear this whether it happened or not, but I'm on CeeDee Lamb. But this is it, man. This is the time of year. You got to get DraftKings. You got to bet on touchdowns, anytime score, first time score, all that stuff. DraftKings has all of it. This is the time where you really got to lock in, do your research, pick your guy, and go for it. And that I'm so excited to do it this season, and I wouldn't do it with anybody else other than DraftKings.
You'll know the answer to this when you listen to this, but I have DeAndre Swift as an anytime touchdown scorer today on the DraftKings Sportsbook. So, are you ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simpler like a player to score a touchdown. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your bet today. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $250 in bonus bets instantly and get a 1 month of NFL Plus premium. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FORE, F-O-R-E. That's code FORE for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get a 1 month of NFL Plus premium only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
So now you're going into Montreal. Canadians are very nice, but Montreal President's Cup. What's the? I know it's like what, a couple weeks. I guess earlier this week were the official picks. You get kind of the call locked in. What's the process like after that? As are you already been talking to all the guys? Are you now looped into like a group text that you weren't into? What's that process?
Missed the tour championship by a spot. I kind of just go dark for a week. I'm not a guy that's gonna lobby. I talked to Jim throughout the year. I talked to the guys that are going to be on the team throughout the year. It's one of those things where I'm not comfortable trying to ask my way onto a team. So it's like, man, you know what I got, you know what I bring. If that's something that you want, that's great. If not, we'll go Elcon. But I had this feeling like when I didn't make the tour championship, it's like, man, I usually when you get done with the year, with the regular stuff, it's like, man, I'm out, I'm done. Like I gotta get away from it. And I just got the bit in my teeth now. So pissed. It's like, man, I don't want my year to be over with yet. Like I I just want something to work towards. And so I was super thankful to get picked, and I'm pretty motivated to get obviously motivated to get my game in a good shape, but just glad that I've got something to work towards, because it had been a long off season I'd have been so pissed. So just not ready for it to be over yet.
We've been to the last 2 President's Cups. They're both awesome. The one in Melbourne was so sick. It was such a cool environment. It was right up your alley of hostile. It felt like it was, the 12 guys on the team and maybe, the assistants and the wags against the rest of planet Earth, which is sort of, kind of what you want it to be. And going up into Montreal, they don't get these opportunities that often. An event like this doesn't come up.
They'll be rowdy up there, man.
I think it's going
to be rowdy up there. A bunch of Canadians on that team, Canadian captain. They'll be rocking and rolling, man.
Totally.
Those guys are hungry, man. They've been getting their ass whipped in this thing forever, and they're in a spot to where they got all the juice. So that's up to us to get up there and not let them get rolling.
We're gonna see a little Harman Homa combo again.
I hope so.
It'd be hard to not put that one back out
my
there.
Dog right there.
Yeah.
He is such a gangster. He's so good.
Does playing
so
does
good.
playing team golf affect the way that you play the game? Have you noticed that? Like when you're playing with a partner and you have to try and achieve something for someone else as opposed to yourself?
Yeah, I wish I could tap into that more often in individual golf. Because match play and team golf always seems to bring out at least for me, it always seems to bring my best game out.
Right.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just you have to play well, especially in alternate shot, knowing you have to play well, or it just sort of puts you in that hyper focus. And I don't know. It feels comfortable. The team stuff always has just felt really comfortable. I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah, see, that's interesting because from obviously we're not playing the President's Cup, but if I was to play in an alternate shot, and we've done these videos a bunch, I sometimes feel like I get out of my game a little bit when I have a partner. If it's my turn to tee off, I'm almost swinging a little harder. I'm trying to get it out a little further. I'm trying to put him in a perfect spot as opposed to just playing my own game. Where if I was just playing the individual game, I'm just comfortable because I know all right, if I hit it into the right rough, I can get that onto the green, whatever it might be. I almost feel a little just off when I have someone else hitting my next shot. But I've always thought about that when I watch a professional team sport where I'm like, is that getting into Brian's head? Is that getting into Max's head where it's does Brian feel like he has to hit a little bit further because Max might have a longer average driving distance? And you know what I mean? Little things like that seep in.
I think I'm going to turn to Brett McCabe here for a minute.
Let's go.
I think all that stems from a fear of you disappointing your partner and disappointing and hitting a bad shot and having them be upset at you. I'm not saying, I've played some alternate shot matches where I've played total dog shit, but I'm still a good partner because I'll save a par, or I'll hit an incredible chip shot, or you don't always have to be the star of the match in order to be a good partner. Sometimes you're the star. Sometimes you're the guy that just needs to support the other guy because he's playing his ass off.
Right.
I've been in both roles. You just have to accept whatever role that is. For example, on our Saturday at the Ryder Cup, I probably played a little bit better in the alternate shot than Max did. And then Max played better than I did in the better ball. But if you look at the highlights and stuff, you would have thought that I balled out in the best ball and he balled out in the alternate shot. But we were both comfortable deciding which role it was going, because it becomes apparent. Like in the best ball in the afternoon, I'm like, oh my God, Max isn't missing a shot. He's hitting it so good. And so it becomes apparent to me, hey, there's some chances that I want to take, but maybe I'm not quite in the spot where I'm pulling all of them off. Max is, rolling on all cylinders. I'm putting one up there 20 feet to make sure that he knows that he can send it. And with that freedom, he's crushing it. He's rolling. And so that's part of, you have to be unselfish and be yeah, I want to be playing as good as I possibly can, But that's not always the most important thing when it comes to, especially alternate shot.
Right.
Especially alternate shot. And Max and I talked about that before. It's like, look, man, like I'm gonna hit bad shots. You're gonna hit bad shots.
Yeah.
It's just part of it. It's like it's how you recover from that stuff that makes all of it.
That is so well said. It's incredible how well said that is about, especially the part when you're sort of are realizing that you're kind of player B that day or that stretch or whatever, because there's this pressure to somehow vault into being player A or to keep up, and it's such a good point of like, no, dude, sometimes you're there to support the guy who's going fucking ape shit and is just not missing a shot and hitting it, throwing darts and hitting bombs. And it's like, all right, I'm going to be there to make that putt.
Go, buddy.
When you put it in there, I'm going to be there. Right. I'm going to be there
you
to
go.
get that
I got
chip
you.
up and down.
I got you.
God,
hey, man.
I love it.
And if you get, and then when he gets up and misses one, I make par and no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Where I make birdie on that hole. It's just, just having the freedom to go or having the the discipline to know like this guy's sending
ham and egg side of tater tots. That's all it is.
Dude, that's getting me fired up for the President's Cup. I can't wait.
Team golf, man. Team golf is just
it's
where
great.
it's at, dude. It's like
great.
It's got the juice.
It's not great every week.
Right, but there needs to be more of it, right? Like I just like
I don't know. I don't know if there needs to be more of it.
Why?
I really don't. Because you don't watch spring in the football or football in the spring. That's why. Like college, like the XFL or whatever comes out that's in the spring. Those players are better than any college football team you would watch in the fall. They're better. They're better teams. They're better players, better coaches, and no one watches it. Why is that? Why don't we watch football in the spring? If it's so great, you'd watch it in the summer, spring.
I don't know.
I would watch Hard Knocks in the summer before I would watch a real football.
What's your reasoning behind this? You're kind of putting me in a pretzel here.
Because it's a supply thing.
Right.
It's a supply, and
so you're saying
when you limit the supply, right, it makes it. If you had the Ryder Cup every year, it wouldn't be as cool.
Yeah,
there's an
it's
argument
cool because
that.
it's once every 2 years.
Yeah, the Olympics every year.
Argument.
It wouldn't be the Olympics. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, it would just be.
It's exercise. It's the World Championships. It's like literally what it is, and they do it every year, and people just don't really care that much about it.
No, yeah,
it's an interesting take. I don't disagree with that.
It's a part of our psyche that makes no sense. Like I love football. I love watching football. I will not watch it in March.
Right, because almost you've prioritized the games that matter, and you're like, I only want those games to matter because that's what I'm used to, and that's like what we've all just assumed that's the only thing that matters. We're not watching it for the actual game. We're watching it for the result.
More isn't always More isn't always better.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just not.
And it's true. Like you'd literally rather watch like Stephen A. and the guys break down the dogs like spring training and who they're what kind of recruits they brought in than actually watch them play anybody in the spring. You're like, no. And it's
not watching it.
We almost prefer to talk about the Ryder Cup for 2 years or talk about the President's Cup for 2 years and who the captain's going to be and what the picks are going to be and what the crowds are going to be.
Who the picks are. Who's playing good? Are you playing the guy that's hot? Are you playing the guy that's a good locker room guy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
we almost prefer that to watching the Ryder Cup. It's like we want to talk about the Ryder Cup.
Justin Thomas he's an all-timer for team golf.
Oh,
I do want to say that. He's an all-timer. He is like the greatest locker room guy. He's the greatest, like, just team golf guy that you could ever have.
Energy through the roof.
He's incredible. Just a guy that's done it all. He's won 2 majors. He's an absolute world beater. And for him to care as much as he does about an exhibition, it just goes to show you, like, he's a real one. He's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that dude and that. He'll be back. He'll be back in these things for sure.
Of course he will.
Sure.
Of course he will.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped to get up to Montreal. I'm pumped to see all the hoopla. Like you said, they're going to be fired up on the other side. They've got good leadership. They
do, man. And they're hungry.
Yeah.
They're hungry. Mike Weir's a tough guy, man. He's tough.
Techniques. They're going to deliver you legendary hi-fi sound quality that only Techniques can provide. I'm wearing them right now on my head. The A800 over-ear headphones from Techniques. Rigsy Boy, he rocks the AZ80 buds, which seamlessly connect you to 3 different devices simultaneously, allowing you to go from leading a meeting to listening to music to taking a call. Or if you want something over the ear instead of those AZ80s, as I've mentioned, the A800 over-ear headphones are designed with super soft ear pads and a plush cushion headband. I'm telling you right now, I can wear these all day, delivering all day comfort from the office to the fairway, keeping you in the zone. I love the battery on these things. I have these, I turn them off, I put them right on my microphone stand for the podcast, and then when I put them back on, these things, I haven't had to charge these things in months. I use them for the podcast. I use them for listening to music. I'm telling you right now, these are the number one over-ear headphones that I've tried so far. Definitely industry leading in noise canceling. When I have them on the plane, you can't even hear what's going on the plane. You can't believe how loud planes are when you take these things off to talk to someone. It's like it's stimulation overload. So make sure you check them out. They're super comfortable. They're great. They're long lasting. I'm telling you right now, you will not regret it. The website here is us.techniques.com/foreplay. That's us.techniques, technics.com/foreplay. Check them out.
All right, you're going off a little hunting this weekend?
Man, we're going dove hunt. We'll dove hunt Sunday. My farm's a mess, man. It's underwater. We've had like record rainfall. We normally get like 5 inches of rain in August. We've had 17 inches. Whoa. So all of my stuff's a mess, man.
Get some cleanup to do.
Ditches. I'm just old ditch digger these days, man.
What kind of tractor you got on that thing?
I've got a 105 horse and a 55 horse tractor.
You can clean up with that thing. You can get in there.
I need an excavator. That's what I need.
Those things are badass.
They're so fun.
It's like my dad lives for that stuff.
They're so fun.
I got in one once. Like I did an old school. I had a mustache during COVID, and I went and I took that old school picture on that golf course to make me look like Alistair McKenzie or something. And they had we went to the yard for the superintendent, and like he had an excavator back there, and like I just got in one and I just started moving around dirt. It was so much
unreal
fun. It's a video game.
It's unreal.
You got
right?
joysticks.
And you feel like a caveman. You're like more tool.
Yeah.
And more tool.
But it felt like
I
a
don't know
video
what it
game.
is.
The joystick moved that way and it would move that in, and then you can swing it around.
Oh.
It's great, dude. It's great. You got to get one.
Time disappears on one of those things.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
They're
man.
fun to rent.
We're like, I'm not part of that world. Like we went to go to
nothing. Parties like a rental.
We went to Sam Burns's farm or whatever you might want to call that area. It was
he's got a real deer farm.
It was.
They grow deer.
It was awesome. But that to us is like, you take us out. Like I'm on Long Island. Like I don't. All I see ahead of me is just the house that's across the street and the house that's next to me. I don't have any nature. We have to plant trees, privacy trees, just to get our neighbors to stop watching us grilling on our Blackstone. But yeah, like that whole world, like really, I mean, we were shooting. That was the first gun I ever shot when we went to Sam's place.
How did that make you feel? Dude, smell of that gunpowder burning.
We shot a shotgun, and you could, the footage is hilarious. I shoot this thing.
Look at you, bud. You're blushing.
I shoot this thing, dude, and I turned to like Trent and Riggs. I'm like, I felt like I have the power of the world in my hands. Like something really, I mean, like I probably became a man that day, right? Like I went from a boy to a man, even though I'm 31 years old. Like that day, something finally like in my genetics, like just unlocked. Or it's like,
it was like your bar mitzvah. You had your own little bar mitzvah.
Something there.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
There's something
my
there.
Balls finally dropped.
I grew up in Missouri. My old man he had a nice farm. He still got a little bit of it in northern Missouri near Kirksville. And he, one time when I was like maybe 17 or so, he put me on the tractor, and all I was doing, I was just disking up this big field, Brian. So we hooked the disc up to it together, and then he did like 2 laps with me. And he's like, all you got to do is you go down like a Zamboni, and you go down, you turn left, and then you go right back down next to it. And for like an hour and a half, I just disked up this field. No music, no nothing. I think he might have given me like a Bush Light or something at the time, which is a little under, but he's like, just sip on this. And for like an hour and a half, I just went back and forth on this tractor, disking up this field. And I got off, and he's like, "How was that?" And I was like, "Dad, that was fucking incredible." And he's like, "Yep,
Awesome.
He's like, "That's what I
Awesome.
thought." It was great.
Why is it so
I
awesome?
don't know, the vibrations of the
man.
tractor, and it's just, it had that white noise to it, and you're kind of doing something cool, and you're changing the land.
Crank up.
It's just like, oh.
You crank, even like, so I've got a 2-year-old son, and he's got these little, these Hess trucks and all these tractors. And even when he hits the button where it's just the sound of it cranking up, he's like, "Ooh, I like that."
Yeah.
How does he know?
Yeah.
How does he know?
That's unbelievable.
So good. All right, Brian. Well, you're the man. I love how well
Great
you handle
job.
everything. I love
I was
that
nervous
bulldog
for this.
mentality.
I was
Frankie
nervous
was
for this
panicking.
interview. I didn't want to come on just because, like, I don't know. I don't want to be like an asshole, like making jokes and shit. I hate having to face the music. I'm a piece of shit. Like, we come on here, we fucking talk shit.
Frankie, I'm gonna tell you this, bud. There isn't anything that you can say that's going to hurt my feelings.
All right, I appreciate that. That's how I'm built, because I'm no one makes fun of myself more than me, and like I always feel like I can do that with other people if I don't know them, and that sometimes comes off like, oh, you're just being a huge asshole. But I appreciate you saying that. I mean, dude, they got to the point. I'm not like always dogging you, but like if it comes up, I do, like I'll make a joke. But like, dude, if we saw you at a professional golf tournament, I'd be like, I don't want to go over there. What if Brian Harman fucking hates me? You know what I mean? Like I would like avoid you at the fucking tournaments and shit. I like turn around and be like, Trent, we can't go over there. Harman's over there. He's gonna knock my knees off or something. Like this guy fucking hates me. So, well, I'm glad we got through this because this was great, man. You're the man.
Well, I'm happy. I love what you guys do. I'm just going to make you feel really bad. I love what you guys do. Dude. I love the interest that you bring to the sport. These long-form interviews, they help us open up. Yeah. So thank you. And
you're a lefty. I'm a lefty. Man.
You should love this guy, Frankie. You should love the lefty thing. The
I know. It's a lefty underdog.
It's not in the cards for me. It's not in the cards for me. I'm not the fan favorite
Might
guy.
be now.
I'm not a made guy. It's just, Frankie, you do it because you know I can take it, and I take that as a compliment.
That's 100% correct.
That is
Kisner told us that once.
You wouldn't pick on a guy that you knew couldn't take it.
That's like word
then
for
you're
word.
Then you're a real asshole.
Kisner said this fucking guy, this guy could take it and he'll give it back to you worse than you gave it to him. Like, this guy's a guy. He's a guy's guy. I love it.
The Open champion.
We'll do it again.
The Open champion, Royal Liverpool, Brian Harman, USA. Team USA member. Let's go get him. Let's get that President's Cup. Like I said, we're going to see you up there. We'll be all over that fucking Royal Montreal place. Bring the Thunder. Bring the Thunder this year.
Thanks, bro.
We appreciate you taking
y'all
the time.
having me, man. That was fun.
We appreciate you taking the time. Have a great
love
weekend.
The mentality, man. Go get
dog.
them. Like, go fucking shut those people up. I fucking love that. I live for that shit. I love it. Shut them up.
All right, boys.
You want another waggle?
One more.
I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more. imagine we flip the script and the whole crowd's going 15, 16, one more. They're cheering. We could change this, man. We could flip the script.
Just flip it on its head.
Thanks,
can
man.
he do
We
20? Can he
it.
get to 20? And he's out there just trying.